Since it's been a long time since I uploaded a video, I thought I would just make a collage of everything I've been doing. I have been busy. I'll start out here with chopping down the miscanthus grass. I use this electric hedge trimmer, Husqvarna. It's really nice. It was like $300, but it was definitely worth it because it makes it really easy to chop all this down, and there's a lot of it here where I planted 100 rhizomes of it all around my property. So I was just finishing up that row there. I still have quite a bit to go in the back, but I have a row in the front that I did, and that row I showed in the back. Here's the old greenhouse frame. I had it in my driveway over the winter with the snowblower in it, and now it's over here. This is where it's gonna stay, I think, using it as a little shed. And then this is the old chicken run area where I have some garden tools. I used a pallet to organize those a little bit. I have them right by the door of their old outdoor run, which leads right to the garden, and I'm gonna use their run as a greenhouse now. Here's where I was collecting my compost from last year in this green barrel here, and it's pretty good quality. There's some bigger stuff in there, but I'm just gonna leave it since I'm just gonna mulch it on top of the beds. So I could sift it out and make it really nice and fine, but it's really well broken down. It's all the chicken bedding from last year. It's mostly the miscanthus fronds, like the leaves of the miscanthus grass, that I used as their bedding. Yeah, it starts out as this. It's what I use as their bedding material, which I won't be using it as much now that I'm free ranging them on the grass. Yeah, this is where they were living, and I'm cleaning it out now to use this area as a greenhouse, but you can just see how well it's already breaking down just from being here and them scratching through, and I've been piling it up a little bit and letting them scratch through it. So here it is. I piled it up in the compost area after I cleared out the old compost and put a tarp over it. So that'll sit for the season and should be ready next season. Here it is all cleaned out, and I still have some organizing to do in here, so I'm working on getting my garden tools and everything organized, and then this will be a greenhouse area. I got this rain barrel redone. The foundation it was on before wasn't very stable, and it was leaning up against our house, so redid that. For the garden, I'm getting some seeds starting under these barrels since we're still getting a little frost right now, and there's some shallots over there. Hopefully those will come up. There's beets and broccoli under this one, and I did some carrots, just a little patch of carrots so far under here, and I'm gonna do a few successions next to it. And over here, this is the shadiest, coolest area of the garden. So I do lettuce here in the beginning of the season. I have some spinach and lettuce mix going under this barrel. So this is in March when I did this, late March when I started all that. Here's a shot of the worm farm I have in my basement. I was harvesting some of the castings and just showing how good it's doing. There's so many worms in there, and it's a pretty big area. Some daffodils coming up. So here's the rain barrel setup. I'd like to put another one next to it, but for now I had enough to do one base. Need more pavers, but here's the overflow drain I have. So I did that drain a little bit and put some rocks around it. So now the base is high enough so I can put a watering can under there easily and have a little bit of gravity flow, and a little bit more pressure on the hose when I connect a hose to it. Here's the chickens set up right now. I have the electric fence going in a half circle in the front yard using the wooden fence as a fence too. I have quite a big area out here. They seem pretty happy. They do try to get out sometimes and get into the garden up against the house, and they like to dust bathe in there. But it's a pretty nice space for them right now. I'll probably move them to the backyard for a bit and let this area recover for a while. I am gonna switch the wheels out on the chicken tractor because those hand truck wheels just dig right into the ground when it's wet and it's really hard to move it. But I have some wheelbarrow wheels I'm gonna put on there. And here's the greenhouse. I made little mounded raised beds around the perimeter of the greenhouse, and I planted some peppers and tomatoes there. So I'll grow some stuff in the greenhouse this year and kind of trellis it up the whole thing and kind of use some wires and figure out a way to trellis it. Here's a little more progress on this greenhouse area and garden tool shed. So my dad gave me this toolbox here, so I put some gardening tools in there and trying to organize everything so it's easier to work. Got this space cleaned out. I'm gonna grow things in here so it's like a open greenhouse with just a roof over top, so I can put things in here that don't like their leaves getting wet, like tomatoes and stuff. And I'm also controlling the amount of sunlight things get with shade cloth, so not everything likes full direct sun all day. So yeah, I'm gonna use this as a more specialized growing area for trickier things to grow, and then out here it's just gonna be crops like peppers and carrots and beets, and just I'm gonna grow a bunch of sunflowers. I'm gonna grow some melons this year, and pumpkins, squash, and beans. I'm really gonna focus on trellising those beans on this new trellis system I built, which I'll show you soon. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, there's a lot going on right now. This is still, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because this is right when everything just started to bud. You can see these are the kiwi berries vines, and hopefully this will be the first year we actually get some fruit, because now we have a male plant that survived the winter and should pollinate the females. A couple years ago, like the first year I bought these, one of the plants died and I didn't know if it was a male or a female, and I ended up getting another female, and I should have got a male because I'm pretty sure it was the male that died, and we never ended up getting any fruit. Last year they flowered, but they obviously didn't get pollinated because there was no male and we had no fruit coming. So here's where I seeded. We got some beets and broccoli coming up. It's so exciting to see the first sprouts come out, and it just gets me excited for the season. No action on the carrots yet. They take a little while, and actually they just started to pop. Carrots need to stay moist and covered. Usually I keep them covered with newspaper or a piece of wood or something. This is a blueberry bush here, and a little I can't think of it right now. A gooseberry plant here. I just transplanted it here this year, so it might take a little while to get established. And here's a little update on the lettuce and spinach. Finally got those sprouted. And now I can kind of take the covers off because it's getting warmer out now. I don't think we're going to get any more frost. What a beautiful sunny day on the Earth-Made farm. And I think this was Easter morning. An easy way to add a water tap to your IBC tote. Just drill a hole. I used a step bit, and I actually was going to use this hole as just an overflow and put a hose here and drain it down. And then I realized, wait, I started a siphon with it, and it was just flowing water out of here. So I put this on here now. I got a little tap so I can fill up my watering cans, my sprayers and my watering cans and all that. I did add this Y here to the IBC tote barrel so I could put another hose on there for something else, probably for the chickens out in the front yard. But then I got the rain barrel pump set up again. Pretty easy to set it up because I made it easy to install and disassemble for the winter. This is where the wires come into my battery cabinet and hook up to my solar system, and how it's run on solar. I just have these alligator clips so I can connect them to the bus bars here to power the pump. And yeah, it's a 12 volt DC pump. It runs on this 12 volt system I have here. A couple solar arrays going into this 400 amp hour battery bank. And here's me turning it on for the first time. It takes a little bit for the pump to get going and get the air out of the lines. But after it got going, I realized it was leaking. So it's been going, this is the third year it's been going without any problems, and I have a small leak, and it was a bit annoying because I didn't make the pump very easy to remove from this case. I made the case easy to disassemble for the winter, but I realized the pump was leaking. It was also clogged up at first with algae, so the flow wasn't that great. So the shaft seal is leaking on the pump. So I'm using it still as it is right now, but I ordered a new seal, and I'm just turning off the water to the pump each time when I'm done. And I added a new impeller and seal, and the new impeller did help with the water pressure. The water flow is much better now. This was just right when it started up, so it wasn't so great. So yeah, I'm getting the shaft seal in the mail, and I made it easier to remove the pump next time, which I had to cut the wires for it, but now I just wire nutted them back together, and so it'll be easier to take in and out. And I put a little hook there for the remote. Here's my new trellising system that I'm very excited about. I have these 12 to 15 foot solar racks that I got from my last job. A customer was just throwing them away, so I took them, pounded those in the ground about 3 feet, and then I have these parallels. I have one line for each pole going from the pole to my house on a eye bolt that I drilled into a stud, and so I have one line going parallel on each side of the line of raised beds that I have, and then I'm going to have a horizontal line going between those two lines, those two parallels. This is one of them. This is above two of my raised beds, and I'm going to have vertical lines going up from each raised bed, kind of making a triangle over that horizontal one. I do have a thicker gauge rope that I'm going to switch out for the parallels, and then the horizontals and the verticals will be a bit thinner. They're 100-pound limit, so that's not bad at all. Steel wire rope. I plan on mostly using these trellises for the kiwi vines that I'm growing and pole beans, maybe some tomatoes and cucumbers. And this is just today, May 1st. I came out and was doing some seeding, and we already have some oregano and mint growing. The strawberries are flowering, and the kiwi vines are really filling in. I just planted some sunflower seeds here in this raised bed. Spaced them out pretty well. Put some compost in there, and then some Pro Mix in the seeds. Here's the carrot seeds coming up. This is the second succession of those, the beets and the broccoli, and I also put some carrots in here that were crowding each other out. The garlic and the shallots never came up there, so I planted more carrots under that newspaper. There's a couple peas in that bed there on the left, and then I just put a bunch of starts in the greenhouse, some squash and melons and tomatoes. This is the compost. I'm spreading it around in places. Here's the spinach and the lettuce, a second succession of lettuce, and this is called corn salad. It's another type of lettuce, just started popping up there, and then I did another succession the following week in a little row right there. So we got some greens coming. Thank you very much for watching and being patient with my uploads. I'm really trying to make higher quality videos, which takes a little more time with these voiceovers and everything. It's hard to find a quiet time in my house, so thanks for your patience. Appreciate your support. Comment if you have any questions. Like the video, please. Thank you so much. Take care.